meeting. Today is August the 15th, 2023. First item on the agenda is public comment period. We've got a 3-minute limit for folks who have signed up in advance to speak. From anyone? All right, nobody has signed up to speak today. Next item on the agenda is the review and approval of the meeting minutes from our July 18th meeting.
Move to approve.
Got a motion from Mr. Markey and a second from Mr. Franklin. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Annual report. Mr. Markey. You're up. Annual report.
Good morning, everybody. I think you have received a copy of our annual report. I want to thank, in particular, Kay Filio for doing a lot of hard work in putting this together for us. And this is a first run of the proposed final copy of our annual report. But as you can see, we had a pretty good year. We kind of changed it around a little bit. You can see that there's a significant focus on our new technologies that we're doing here in Virginia Beach. And the 22-23 year results you can see for yourself there, $468.3 million in new capital investment, 485,000 square feet added, capital investment totaling 118 million. So we had a good year. I wish I could take credit for that, but I want to thank my friend in Reno, Nevada, and the team that we've got here in Virginia Beach already. So I'm hoping we can build on that in the coming years. In this report, we also wanted to focus on some of the other things that we're doing that you'll hear more about as the year goes by. But our international incubator has been a big hit, and it's full, and we're looking for ways to expand that and be a place, a nice soft landing spot for some of the other companies that are looking to come into the beach. There's some information there relative to the amphitheater, the golf course. Obviously the golf course, because golf is back and popular again, is doing better than just a few years back. We do have some love that we're going to have to pay to the golf course, I think, in the coming months. In order to bring it completely up to snuff, and we'll be talking more about that in due time. Our Gross Barn initiatives are doing really well. I want to thank Barb and her team. We did lose Ashley Gilmartin, who decided she was going to move back to the city of Gloucester with her family, so that's where she came from. So I know that Barb is going to be looking to replace one of her key people in that program. We're going to talk more about our FIG, facade improvement grant programs, the things going on at the Hive. You're going to hear some more really great news about the Hive, some national awards that the Hive has won, and I'm going to let Isan have the opportunity to brief on that. And then some of the other things that we've been doing. In particular, we've had a really successful year in getting European companies to come and visit with us. The pre-IPF show was a big hit. And then some of the other things we did in terms of our marketing mission to Spain, Germany, England, France, and the like. So we're generating an awful lot of activity. We're going to need a lot more land to land them all, but we'll figure that out, right? So I'd be glad to answer any questions that you all might have on the annual report.
Thank you, Chuck. We appreciate it, and you can take all the credit you want because you're here.
Well, I'm going to talk about something here in a couple minutes, and I'll take some of it.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Chuck on that? Next item is a request for approval of the appointment of our interim director, Mr. Rigney, as Assistant Secretary of the Development Authority. That was a role that Taylor had, and it doesn't transfer automatically. So we'll just have to take a vote to appoint Chuck as our Assistant Secretary. So we can sign off on documents.
Madam Chair, being reminded we were supposed to have a motion and a vote for the
annual report first.
Oh, okay, so, yeah, I guess two things on that. So Chuck, this is our glossy annual report. The other annual report that hopefully you all read is the one that I worked on with staff, and this is the Development Authority's annual report, and that's what Alex is referencing. This would have to be voted on.
Madam Chair, would you like me to go through that very quickly?
Sure, if you want.
Lost it.
I mean, it's slightly different because we're, I guess, tasked differently and have a slightly different, although very related mission.
So one of the things that we wanted to do is to be sure that there was a little bit of an explanation on some of the incentive programs that we are involved in here with the BBVA. And going straight to the accomplishments and goals, you can see that under our Economic Development Investment Program, the EDIP program, very successful program. It is discretionary, as you know. We seek you all's assistance and opinions and ultimately a vote on a program that to assist these qualifying companies in their growth based on capital investment, the number of jobs, the caliber of the jobs and the like. And we've been having a very good year with our EDIP. We did 12 EDIP grants totaling $4,060,000, leveraging $117,900,000 in new capital investment in the city. So that's a pretty good return. So thank you all for your hard work on EDIP. Over this fiscal year, 14 companies invested a total of $468 million in new capital investment, as noted in our glossier annual report. We added 2 additional companies into the incubator, and again, that makes it full. And we're looking at and have established the Old Dominion University Data Science Institute here in Virginia Beach. We got some other exciting things that we're going to be doing with Old Dominion University here in the coming year that you'll hear more about. And having been the alumni president there a couple of decades ago, I'm really glad to have a very close relationship with our friends at ODU. Noteworthy examples of things, I could read all this, but certainly the EDIP grant of $800,000 to Drone Up. I participated in a show out in Las Vegas about 2 years ago when I was still with the city of Hampton. And on every single bus in Las Vegas was the Drone Up advertising on the side of it. And they had a huge presence at the show. And it really is getting an awful lot of name recognition for our city. And the future is in unmanned and autonomous in the air, on the surface of the water and underneath the water. So we're looking to own that kind of technology here in Hampton Roads and in particular here at the beach. As you know, we were successful in getting Zim's corporate offices relocated to the city of Virginia Beach most recently. I want to thank Charlie Bauman and the team that worked diligently on, and Laura on bringing that deal. Wasn't easy, and got it done. Certainly we did an EDIP grant of $1.5 million there, but it leveraged, again, that $30 million worth of new capital investment. So it's great to have Zim here owning a building right around the corner from us. And then certainly our friends at Steel, another $500,000 worth of an expansion project with a grant of $500,000 to continue their presence here at the beach with $49 million of new capital investment. And their future is very bright. We had an opportunity, as I think Gunther's going to talk about, some of the current workforce mission that we did, but they're moving heavily into battery power products, so that's going to be great. Our facade improvement grant program, again, this is really something that smaller businesses really can take advantage of. It helps offset beautifying or getting in new signage and the like, so a very good program and one that is very popular. We did 15 grants totaling $119,000. It takes an awful lot of work on the staff's part to put all that together and make sure that everything is buttoned up and the paperwork is in place. But again, that leveraged $463,000 of new investment by those companies, so that's great. Talked about the incubator. I can't say enough about the effort that Taylor Adams in particular put into the Atlantic Park project. project, and the entire team here in the city. Kathy Warren loves and lives that every single day. So congrats to them for getting that over the finish line, and it's going to be a very exciting project. We did attach, we attached our membership and attendance, and I might just touch on that for just a quick second. Obviously, council is interested in making sure that they follow those things, so we did attach the membership and attendance, and it kind of, if there's any questions on that, I'd be glad to answer them for you all. Budget report, again, I think is something that is attached separately as well.
Chuck, if I could say, because the boards and commissions policy is a relatively new policy, I did not realize that starting in January, I was supposed to make sure I knew whether or not an absence was excused or unexcused. And there are three categories, just looking at the attendance list, and please do take a look at it. If you were ill for a meeting, or if you had a family member, relative death, or some other personal tragedy, or some other event that was out of your control. Unfortunately, business travel wouldn't qualify, but if you were traveling, let's say with an economic development department on a particular mission, in your case, that might qualify. But by all means, please let me know if you've got an absence that I should be considered excused, because again, I did not stay on top of making sure I knew what everybody was doing and what was going on. So also, I would say if you have any comments on this, we tried to highlight the bigger events, and I did want to include in our EDIP grants and those noteworthy examples any projects where Commonwealth Opportunity Fund and the governor contributed as well. We were able to leverage state dollars and our dollars to really have a much bigger impact on the company. So we couldn't do any of this without the department, Chuck. So thank you to you and to Laura and Kathy and Emily and Charlie and all the folks who support us.
Well, it's been, as I said, what a great team that Beach has here, and we are going to have another great year, and in the years to come. You can see that we have focused on several of our key strategic areas, and we continue to pursue, in particular, advanced manufacturing. We think that's a real strike zone for us, and then obviously defense and aerospace is a natural, and these others, IT and cyber. One of our successful stories coming out of the International Incubator is a British-based IT company that is heavily into cybersecurity as well. They got a bright future ahead of them, contracts around the country now. Clearly, our friends at the port, we continue to work with them very, very closely. In fact, we're going to be trying to plan a marketing trip with them in the fall. And then the bio and life sciences, you're going to hear more about that very, very shortly. We're on the cusp of some really good news there. And then the Hive, Esam Moak has been doing a really great job, and you're going to hear some of the great news coming out of the Hive very shortly. Very well received, great programs, and again, a focus on our smaller companies, right? The entrepreneurs and the startups and the people that are looking for some advice and guidance and the ability to be around people just like them. And you can pick up an awful lot of tips on how to become successful. If you can get through the first couple of years as a startup, you're pretty much going to make it. But the first 2 years are tough. And then our professional office and retail, we still don't know what the office market's going to look like, right? Retail's a little bit different animal, but we're still trying to figure out the office environment. So if we can find somebody to be a new anchor for us, we'll certainly be interested in trying to do something, but it's a tough environment right now in office. So.
And although we didn't have any role in it, I was excited to see that Lego is coming to Town Center.
Gerald Tavares has been working on that for quite a while, and it's going to be 3,670 square feet, I think, right here on Central Park And so it's going to be a really nice addition to Town Center, and it's going to continue to make Town Center a family-friendly kind of place to come to and stay in our hotels in the immediate area too, and that plays into our sports marketing and tourism strategies. So really great addition. I've gotten more conversation and buzz from my friends with kids about Legos and everything. So it's going to be a great addition.
Exciting news. Thank you. Any comments or questions? So I think with the exception of the absence chart, which, like I said, I'm open to any comments or any folks who have absences that really should have been excused. Please get those to me, but otherwise, let's go ahead and vote on the annual report. Unless you had any comments or questions or things that we should have inserted that we didn't highlight that were important events from this year. All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion on the annual report. Got a motion from Gunther.
Second.
Second from Penny. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chuck. Next item, we didn't get to the appointment of the, so we've got to appoint, as I said, Chuck as the Assistant Secretary of the Development Authority, so he can sign off on documents, and that's not a title that automatically follows the role of Director. I'll entertain a motion on that.
Motion.
All right, I got one from Taylor Franklin and a second from Mike Standing. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Chuck, you're our Assistant Secretary now.
You can carry the load.
Yeah. It was unanimous. All right, next up is Katrina with a review of the financial statements for, and we've got June and July, because Katrina was out in June.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Madam Vice President, she's not President. I'm putting that into the works.
Did I miss an election?
Madam Vice Mayor, and also Councilman Bellucci and Councilman Remick, and also our board and visitors. Good morning. So I'm here as Madam Chair stated, I will be presenting June and July financials. Okay, operating account summary, June 2023. The beginning cash for June 1st, 2023 was $3,934,078. We had a grand total of significant cash receipts, $706,134. Significant disbursements, $2,085,626. Okay, continuation. And our ending cash as of June 30th, 2023 is $2,469,119. Incentive initiative accounts for June 2023, beginning cash, June 1, 2023, $2,942,260. Grand total of significant receipts, $462, and then the significant cash disbursements, we didn't have any significant cash disbursements. Ending the cash as of June 30th, 2023 is $2,942,387. Okay, EDIP grant summary report for June 2023. We had $3,303,394. Earned interest and activity analysis fees is $83. And then we had new grants approved by VVDA, $1,500,000. The EDIP grant funds available as of June 2023, $1,803,477. Okay, and I provided those attachments that detail exactly what was new and the activity for June for EDIP grants. Okay, and we're gonna move along to July. Thank you. We have operating account summary 2023 for July. Beginning cash is $2,469,119. Significant continuation of significant cash receipts. Grand total significant cash should be disbursements. $2,438,851. That was what was dispersed. Okay, our ending, and this is a continuation, our ending cash for July 31st, 2023, $1,601,686. Incentive and initiative accounts for its summary. The beginning cash of July 1, $2,942,387. Significant cash, $458. Significant cash disbursements, $22,241. Giving us an ending cash flow of, as of July 31st, 2023, $2,889,288. Okay. And the EDIP summary reporting for July. Our beginning VBDA ending balance is $1,803,477. We had earned interest and activity analysis fees, $77. Then we have our new funds for fiscal year 2024, which happens July 1st. That is $1,659,582. And we had no closed EDIPs, and we had new grants approved by VBDA, and that was $147,600, giving us an ending grant funds available as of July 2023, $3,315,536. Madam Chair, that concludes the reporting for June and July.
Katrina, did you include, I know I saw it, but the sort of the trend line as far as the appropriations that we get each fiscal year because it's based on the cigarette tax?
Yes, ma'am, it's in your package. And you'll notice that there is a significant change in comparison to June. The sales the actual funding for EDIP is through our cigarettes tax, and it has declined slightly. So you will see in June in that package, there is a table there that shows what was projected for July. For June, and you'll see that, and then on the July package, you'll see what we actually received was like a $200,000 difference, and that's a decline.
So I'll go ahead and put in a shameless plug since we have 3 council members here, including the vice mayor. When marijuana becomes legal and if vaping is included, we'd like to include the tax money from that in EDIP because it looks like smoking is going down, but certainly I think marijuana smoking will make up some of that difference.
We did it in our legislative package last year. We were able
To do that, yeah. Would be helpful. All right, any questions for Katrina?
Thank you, Madam Chair and Board, for allowing me to serve you. Have a wonderful day.
All right, yeah, one point I would make, and it's in our report, it's a tremendous amount of Katrina's time and Emily Archer and Kathy Warren and Alex. You know, we're not the face of the Atlantic Park project, but staff is working to review the contracts, to make disbursements, and they're constantly working with the developer to make sure all of that happens the way it's supposed to and when it's supposed to. So there's a tremendous amount of time behind the scenes that they're spending on that project. So thank you.
Thank you.
A lot of checks and wires. Okay, I've been told request number 5 is not quite ready, so I think we're gonna table number 5 for this month. And it's got a few items that I think need to be addressed. Number 6, Forbes Candy's assistance request, and that's Emily Archer.
Good morning.
Good morning, did you wear red on purpose to match the?
Thank you for noticing. Good morning, Vice Mayor, council members, Madam Chair, and board members. I'm here today to discuss the Forbes Candy's assistance request. So, the assistance request, hopefully, we anticipate that will bring this project to fruition. Disclosures? So a little bit of background. So Forbes Candy does have a development agreement with us currently. They have a site in Corporate Landing that's about 3.4 acres. A development agreement for the site to construct a 26,000 square foot total manufacturing facility in their corporate headquarters. This body approved the sale in March of 2022 at $610,000 for the site. It's a $6.3 million project investment on Forbes Candy's part, which has grown significantly since they originally entered into the deal. And then it's anticipated to bring 10 new jobs with an average salary of $39,000. So they are currently acting as our developer for the infrastructure projects that will make their site pad ready through a cost participation agreement and money appropriated by City Council in the CIP 10635. The infrastructure totals about $4.5 million and consists of a sewer line here, a water line here, and Pond D, which is about 80% complete as of today. The construction began in March of 2023. This is Pond D. You can see this was about at 50% complete, but you see they're digging it here, and then the new road's off to the right, and then way up in the corner is the stockpile from the spoils. I'm going to talk about that pile in a minute. I just wanted to point it out. Again, this is about $4.5 million in infrastructure, and Forbes has, throughout this, started to incur significant time and resources in the management of this infrastructure for us, and is requesting a 3% development fee credit for acting as VBDA's developer for the infrastructure. This is within precedents such as Town Center to pay a development fee with somebody acting on our behalf and constructing that infrastructure. And then they've requested other kind of in-kind services for us, so such as the from that stockpile, permitting Forbes as they construct their own site to place some of their excess soil onto that stockpile. Otherwise, they would have to truck it off, which is about a $45,000 value. And then permit Forbes to utilize sand fill from that pile for their site development at no cost, which is approximately $21,375 value. I'm going to go back to their site plan for a minute here. So originally, they were going to be ahead of us in timing-wise, and Global Way would not have been there, and they were going to have to construct a temporary access drive to be able to gain occupancy and utilize the site. As timing is worked out and we are now ahead of them, we anticipate Global Way will be there before so they no longer have to build the temporary access drive, which would be significant savings of around $100,000 in value for them. And then lastly, the storm drain connection up here at the top, they're requesting if we can construct that as well for them while the contractors out there are immobilized and digging Pond D. And that would be a $22,000 value, for a total of $318,000 or $375,000. So today we're requesting the approval of assistance for Forbes Candies totaling $375,000 in in-kind services and fees for Forbes Candy.
Okay. Any questions for Emily?
What happens if they don't build the building? Get the money back?
So these would all
It happened during construction.
performance.
Yeah.
Right. They're doing this first.
We wouldn't get this money back, sir, but we would have the improvements. Yeah, we would get the, after the land we're selling them.
Not if they complete the work.
How far along is the construction process on Global Way? Has it started?
So the pond's about 80% complete. The utilities have just begun the water and the sewer line, and we're hoping to have the road under construction in 2024.
And just, if you go back to the slide, just so everybody remembers, this section of Corporate Landing wasn't otherwise developed. It wasn't like our other lots where we already have the road in and the infrastructure, and this one's a little bit trickier.
So this infrastructure will not only serve Forbes, I should have mentioned, but also 5 other parcels, 0 Point, Phase 2, HRT, and all of the back half of Corporate Landing as well.
So the price per acre, is that reflected in that being compared? They pay the same price per acre as the others?
Correct.
On the list of items of assistance, a couple of them, if you could go back to that page for me for a second, Forbes County Assistance. Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding all of this. The second item is no hard dollar cost to us. We're allowing them to do something that saves them, so we're not coming out of pocket.
Correct.
And the same thing with the third item, if I recall, we have other arrangements where sand has been available to other developers, and there's nothing unusual about that particular request, nor is there cash required.
Correct.
Okay. We're building Global Way anyway, so there's no additional dollar cost to the Development Authority for that. It just saves them money.
Correct.
So 3 of those 5 have no cash impact. Stormwater drain connection, I don't know who would normally build that. That's only $22,000. But the first one, I know you referenced that there's a precedent for development fee credits, particularly here in Town Center. Are there other situations in Corporate Landing or at our new park at Lansdowne Commons Innovation Park where we have provided development fees for developers who oversaw part of the infrastructure construction?
I'm not currently, no.
So this would be new for Corporate Landing and the other park. I have to look at them together because they're both our current parks under construction.
Correct, yes.
Well, and I think that's why the fact that this section of Corporate Landing didn't have any of those improvements to start off with. I mean, if it was plug and play where they could go in where we already had infrastructure, that'd be one thing. But the timing of their construction and our construction of the infrastructure is such that it makes sense to have them manage that project for us because they're using the same contractors,
Correct,
right?
yes. Seal Pincus.
It's same contractors doing the work. They're just managing the process.
Okay, and is that the pond and the connection? Is that what that 4.5 is again?
Correct. It's the pond and 2 utility lines of water line along Global Way.
Okay, so they're managing that part of the construction on our behalf.
Correct.
Okay, I wanted to understand that a little bit better. Thank you. That's all I have.
It's an unusual situation,
Yeah.
yeah. Any other questions from any of the members? All right, thank you, Emily. And I will entertain a motion on the request for that assistance, which really isn't anything coming out of pocket from us. It's a credit against the purchase price, yeah.
Motion.
We've got a motion from Mr. Parker. Second from Penny. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you all. Thank you, Emily. Administrative information for VBDA priorities. Gunter, would you tell us about your Germany trip and your efforts to help us figure out how to train employees so that they're available here for our manufacturing companies?
We actually had a trip where we were 23 people went on that trip, 5 mayors from the area here, and 5 presidents from the colleges. And we visited Stihl. They have about 200 apprentices. Also, they told us a little bit more about Stihl. I mean, did you know they have 6 to 8 million chainsaws a year?
Wow.
5.4 billion in sales. and 20,000 employees. And from there, we went also to the schools, and all the presidents of the colleges asked really detailed questions about how the system works, how they get trained, when they get trained, how old they are, and so on. That was really good. So they actually have an understanding about what it is. It will not be a copy one by one. I mean, that's got to be clear. But I think they learned about what the differences are and what can we actually include in our systems to make it better and train more people. That's really what the bottom line is. And there's going to be an upcoming meeting now. I think it's in 2 weeks, where everybody comes back together, and there's going to be some action items based on that. Also then after that, we went to IMS. We got about 170 apprentices in Europe. Also showed them the school systems. We went also to other school systems, how the universities and the schools work together. And there was also an open forum on what it is and what it is not. So questions about how the whole system works. There were also the college presidents were on stage, and also what was their view of it. So I actually came back pretty positive of that whole trip. I think everybody saw it. It's just going to take some time to implement what is there and actually to get a real pathway about what are we doing and how we're doing it. I think there's quite a bit of money available right now. Also, I mean, Workforce has, I don't know exactly how many millions, but there's several millions about what we could use to implement some of the training.
And this would really address that issue that we have where we have these light manufacturing companies that can't find employees.
Right.
And so there's no reason we couldn't use the school systems. I think the community college and the other private colleges to work in some sort of a certification so that they could get trained, and then they could come to work as an apprentice and then move through the program.
I mean, the only thing that was missing was basically representatives from the schools themselves. From the colleges and from the schools. The chair from the Virginia Beach schools was supposed to be there, but she didn't make the flight.
She had flight problems.
Yeah.
And ended up canceling. Her flight got canceled.
I know. Yeah.
By the time she got there, it was like.
No, she didn't even get there. She did not even get there.
No,
Yeah.
she wanted to,
Right.
but by the time they rescheduled, because I talked to her, by the time they rescheduled her, you know, it wasn't
too
worthwhile
tight, yeah,
going.
yeah.
It was
Challenging time for air travel.
Right.
She was really disappointed.
But I mean, there was all the decision makers there. I mean, he had all the mayors there. I mean, from 5 cities here.
Did you put the whole thing together?
No, the alliance was actually taking the whole
They took.
that one, taking the connections and doing all that. So I mean, they did the legwork. They did an awesome job.
Thank you for being involved, because I know that's something that you've really been focused on,
For a long time, yeah.
and it's very important for our community.
Gunther's also working on the career development with this. We have a little committee going with the schools, and he's being part of that. Career development, more opportunities with the school system.
And I feel like Virginia Beach schools have a pretty good program. I don't know if it's necessarily an apprenticeship, but they do have sort of
They have
job
this
training.
2 systems. They have ATC, where they take the kids, and they also have got the vocational part of it. But if you really look at the whole system, you got 80,000 kids in school, and about 2% that actually can only go into this, which I don't think is enough.
So we need a bigger program.
Well, I think it's where we could expand. It's not just what we do here in Virginia Beach, but we may need to make some changes with the General Assembly.
That would be.
Actually, Hampton has something where I think is a really good system, the New Horizon. I think we can learn something from them.
Thank you for.
He's just all over the place working with us.
Yes, thank you for putting so much time into that, extra
Yeah,
time.
I'm a little bit selfish. I need Workforce too.
You want first pick at the employees, right? The apprentices go to you first. All right, any other comments from any other members? Okay, I think hopefully Dr. Brown and Gunther will again serve on the nominating committee and give us a report next month. we'll talk about this, I think, at the end. I think there's a resolution, but Joe Strange, who is our vice chair, is rolling off. His term is done at the end of this month, and NECA's term is also done at the end of this month. So we thank them both. I'm gonna ask. Do you want me to go ahead and read those? I will go ahead and read those now. All right, so we'll do NECA's first, since she is here. Resolution of the City of Virginia Beach Development Authority to NECA Chiazor. Whereas the Virginia Beach Development Authority of the City of Virginia Beach, Virginia was created to serve certain purposes, among which are those of promoting industry and developing trade by inducing manufacturing, industrial, governmental, and commercial enterprises to locate or remain in the Commonwealth of Virginia by assisting in the acquisition, construction, equipment enlargement, and improvement of commercial facilities. And whereas NECA Chiazor was appointed by the authority on September 1, 2019, and served for 4 years with distinction until August 31, 2023. And whereas during her tenure, Virginia Beach experienced unprecedented growth, expansion, and prosperity. And whereas this commercial growth has led to the increase in jobs for the citizens both of the City of Virginia Beach and Hampton Roads. And whereas this commercial growth has provided revenue to support many services necessary to a young, thriving community. And whereas the support of dedicated citizens such as NECA Chiazor has made Virginia Beach a better place to live, work, and recreate. And now therefore, we, the City of Virginia Beach Development Authority, hereby recognize the invaluable service and contributions made by NECA Chiazor to the betterment of the City of Virginia Beach. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the Virginia Beach Development Authority of the City of Virginia Beach, Virginia, to be affixed hereto this 15th day of August in the year of our Lord 2023. Thank you so much. I do have a gift for you that Mike's going to have to lift because my back is injured.
Aw.
Thank you. Pretty picture of Town Center to remember your time here.
Yeah, company's yearly performance review would go the same way.
Thank you so much for your service. And to Joe Strange, who unfortunately, like I said, couldn't be here, I will read this quickly. Another resolution of the City of Virginia Beach Development Authority to Joseph E. Strange. Whereas the Virginia Beach Development Authority of the City of Virginia Beach, Virginia, was created to serve certain purposes, and among which are those of promoting industry and developing trade by inducing manufacturing, industrial, governmental, and commercial enterprises to locate or remain in the Commonwealth of Virginia by assisting in the acquisition, construction, equipping, enlargement, and improvement of commercial facilities. And whereas Joseph E. Strange was appointed to the authority on August 28, 2013, and served for 10 years with distinction until August 31, 2023. Whereas Joseph E. Strange represented the City of Virginia Beach Development Authority as a City Council appointed liaison, Planning Commission Chair, Co-Chair, and Liaison, Transition Area Interfacility Traffic Area Citizens Committee Liaison, Military Economic Development Committee Liaison, and for those of you who know Joe, before he came to the Development Authority, he served 8 years on the Planning Commission. So here is a person who has volunteered a tremendous amount of time to the city. Whereas during his tenure, Virginia Beach experienced unprecedented growth, expansion, and prosperity. And whereas this commercial growth has led to the increase in jobs for the citizens, both of the City of Virginia Beach and Hampton Roads. And whereas this commercial growth has provided revenue to support many services necessary to a young, thriving community. Whereas the support of dedicated citizens such as Joseph E. Strange has made Virginia Beach a better place to live, work, and recreate. Now therefore, we, the City of Virginia Beach Development Authority, hereby recognize the invaluable service and contributions made by Joseph E. Strange to the betterment of the City of Virginia Beach, and witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the Virginia Beach Development Authority of the City of Virginia Beach, Virginia, to be affixed hereto this 15th day of August in the year of our Lord 2023. And we'll give that to Joe with a similar picture, so thank you. Hopefully I got your name right the 4 times I had to say it. It's only been 4 years, and hopefully I finally figured that one out.
You sure did.
All right, well, thank you so much for your service. It's been invaluable, your perspective and the background and the business acumen that you bring was very critical to our role here. All right, interim director's report, Mr. Rigney again.
Again, good morning, everybody. We thought that it might be useful for you all to see the presentation that we made last week to the City Council on Project Beach and Project Door. So we thought we'd run through this very quickly for you, because I don't know whether you watch the City Council meetings on TV, or if you do, I suggest that that's a great way to do it, but we wanted to go through it today with you all very quickly. These are our disclosures. They all stay the same, as you can see. I did see Eddie Bourdain here earlier. This is actually the folks that are putting this project together. And the location here, and I think, do we have the, yeah, this thing disappeared last week. But you have here General Booth Boulevard, and then Dam Neck Road, and London Bridge here. So Project Door and Project Beach are on opposite sides of the street from one another, or the street that will be created. The Taylor Farms Business Park South and the South Oceana Special Economic Growth Area. It is in District 5, Vice Mayor. And 237 acres in total. Assessed value on the property was $5.9 million. It is zoned I-1, as I'll show you in a second. There are some restrictive Navy easements, 16 I think on Door and 60 on Beach, and the noise levels there, which just basically speak to making sure that it adheres to those. First project, Project Beach, the larger of the two, 161 acres, basically $350 million of capital investment, 1,000 new full-time jobs. Those wages are $17 an hour. But again, on both of these projects, I would note that this company has a very robust benefits program that kicks in day one of their employment. So in addition to the average wage levels, you can also count on a very robust health care, life insurance, and other benefits day one of employment. So again, for Project Beach, the larger of the two buildings, that building, as you'll see in a second, is 3.2 million gross square feet. Project Door on 76 acres is the last mile delivery facility. $33 million capital investment, some 50 to 100 new full-time jobs. The reason that you see those 500 to 1,000 new contract jobs is most of the time the delivery drivers for this company will be independent contractors. First, Project Door, we approved the rezoning from Ag 1 to Industrial 1 back in 2021. 219,000 square foot last mile facility, and the site plan is very close to being finished. I know that Kathy and her team continue to work very, very closely with this company to get this all done. As you can see, we have a very aggressive timeline that's involved with the project. Early site work has already begun. Project Beach, again, back in 2022, we rezoned the property from Ag 1 to I-1. A 3.2 million gross square foot warehouse distribution center proposed there. Again, in parallel with the other project, that site plan is close to being finalized. We also, I'm happy to say that the company and the contractor worked closely with the community, and the stakeholder engagement out here was robust. And they agreed to enhance landscaping buffers, and I'll show you some more of that in a minute here, but it exceeds the standard requirements. We're working on, Vice Mayor, I understand from our attorney at the end of the table there, that we are inserting some of the language that you were wanting to be concerned about.
It's ready?
They had just, I think, sent to Alex.
We discussed it last night. She has not sent it to me yet, but promised it this morning. We were in agreement as to what it would say.
Okay. Groundbreaking is anticipated for this project in the fourth quarter of '23, so you can see very aggressive. Panattoni, who is doing this project for the company, has a 15% minority participation. I had the opportunity to, along with other city leaders, to meet with Panattoni's diversity officer, and she is very, very much committed to working very closely with us in ensuring that they exceed this 15%, but that's their minimum goal of 15% minority participation in the project. Proposed building again, you have Dam Neck Road up here at the top. This will be Twin Mills Road here from Dam Neck coming in all the way down, further down to London Bridge. They will construct Lava Beach Lane. The thing I think you can see there is the use of the stormwater ponds to be able to capture all runoff from the project. Not only that, but they will catch up to a 100-year storm, so they are built to have the capacity to handle that kind of volume of water. In addition, you can see to the left of the proposed building a future development site that's capable of another 400,000 square foot opportunity, and the stormwater system in place is capable of handling that future development as well. So it's in place already. There are some significant features that will shield the community here. As you can see, extensive tree line. The berm is 10 foot high. There's also a fence line along there as well, and then some additional landscaping improvements along Lava Beach Lane, along with the creation of a pretty significant buffer with that BMP at the bottom of the picture there.
So Chuck, they told me that they were going to do some additional landscaping behind Mayberry.
Yes, my understanding from the meeting we had in the rec center that Bill Hudgens was working with Dave France and Kimberly Horn to make those adjustments as well. So yes, ma'am, they will. This is kind of the traffic flows, circulation, the connector road between Dam Neck and London Bridge. When the company was scoring this site, one of the things they were very pleased with was what they feel is a labor market that's capable of fulfilling the need. But one of the things that we wanted to ensure, one of the things that they did like as well is that while the traffic is designed to bring those trucks from Dam Neck into this first area here, it was good to have a secondary means of ingress and egress in the event that there was something that would prohibit that kind of flow of traffic from Dam Neck. The vehicles, the service vehicles and the trucks are designed to come in at that location there and then exit back out to Dam Neck, not use London Bridge Road. So one of the things also to note is that the alignment of Twin Mills Road is along what was going to be the Southeastern Expressway that you might recall, in which case this two-lane road, which is what Twin Mills is, would have been a much larger type of road through this area. So in addition to the road, Dominion also has the use of this corridor for their purposes as well. So it was kind of a twofer here in terms of being able to use that Southeastern Expressway alignment for those dual purposes.
Chuck, will they be putting in a multi-use trail or a sidewalk along the Southeastern Expressway alignment where the new road's going?
That is my understanding. Yes, Kathy, I think that, yes. Here's where the public infrastructure request for assistance from the beach. Again, keep in mind that we are dealing with about $383 million of capital investment. On the Project Beach, the larger of the two projects, you can see there where the money is going to be spent, roughly $20 million dedicated toward those improvements necessary for Project Beach, and then for Project Door, $2,250,000. So again, leveraging 383 million, and I would tell you that I believe that to be a conservative number, but a good number. They are very conservative in their estimates. We have $22.5 million, or $22,250, that will be taken up to council later on this evening. Where the debt service for this on the $22.5 million bonds is about $2.1 million annually. The revenues from that type of investment, the $383 million investment, just with real estate, the business person, professional occupancy, license tax, and the personal property tax, is the equivalent of $2.7 million a year in projected revenues. So you can see that we're going to have about a $600,000 windfall or additional funds after debt service. Net positive impact over 20 years is close to $40 million of nominal positive impact, and right now at about a $22.8 million net present value. There is a discussion, and just the way that it's going to be set up is to ensure that those bonds are capable of being supported by a dedicated revenue that would go toward the payment of those bonds. And again, we do have on any surplus an existing sharing arrangement with our Virginia Beach City Schools, so that comes into play. And one of the things that our budget office, in running some numbers, wanted to be clear is that this does not include induced or indirect economic revenues. We're still working on those, but think about all the people that are going to be working there and the spin-off induced and indirect revenues. So that's not in that $2.7 million number. That is a very conservative $2.7 million number. Our schedule, last week was our public briefing and public hearing. Tonight will be the council action on that $22.25 million. And again, all things getting done very quickly here and coming together after quite an effort on the part of Kathy Warren, her team, the city, everybody over the last few years. We'll get to a real estate closing and groundbreaking all in this last quarter of this year. Pretty exciting project. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions. So our consideration this evening is for approval of that infrastructure improvement request.
Thank you, Chuck. Councilman Remick, did you have a comment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chuck, what does the $22.5 million infrastructure, does that go to opening up more industrial land sites? That's what the developers.
Well, certainly in this immediate area, there's been interest in other, opportunities that are capable of using that infrastructure as well.
Can you go back to the map? Chuck, that
Sure.
might help.
So the answer to that question would be, should that future development 400,000 square foot opportunity come in, it's almost guaranteed. In addition to that, there is some other land here in this area that potentially could become opportunities for economic development as well. Yes, sir.
1,000 jobs sounds great. It's $17 an hour isn't very exciting. Where are these folks coming from, the employees they anticipate? Are these folks that are going to be existing folks living around that general area? Will they be commuting? And at $17 an hour, what type of commute is that? Can you talk a little bit more about
Sure.
the employees, where they're coming from, and also where they're going to live? Because that's really not affordable.
I would tell you that's an excellent question, because it was Councilman Taylor, I think, that raised that exact question last week. And we will have, there's a number of working poor that are working 2 and 3 jobs to generate that kind of $17 to $20 an hour wage. The difference here is that these jobs are going to come with a full benefits package. So that's going to be a way for them to move up in working shift work that will also give them good benefits. But there is no question that I think the city is engaged and in the path of, or on the way toward a more robust affordable housing initiatives. Because we know that the more that our folks that have to have longer commutes to take these kinds of jobs, it's an unfair burden on those folks to have the additional transportation costs, the tolling costs and all that. It's a problem that every city in America is experiencing right now. The values of real estate in the more denser areas have gone sky high, and don't have the answer for you today in terms of how does that work. I do know, though, that the City Council has made it a priority to continue to look into ways to have affordable housing in proximity to our major job centers.
And I think, oh, go ahead, Councilman.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think a big part of that is looking at the zoning ordinance. I know Kathy and her team's already started it, but, you know, our density peaks at A36, which is 36 units to the acre, which is great if you're developing this way, but not if you need to develop this way. So I think that's one of the areas that we can look at, you know, where can we add density in excess of the A36 that makes sense, like you said, near some of the SGA areas especially.
Well, we need to incentivize
Affordable housing, yes.
housing by giving some increased density, if that's the case.
Councilman Remick, I think you had a comment.
Bill, you ask a good question, and that's what I asked the developer, and believe it or not, this company, this will probably end up being $1 billion investment between the two projects with all the infrastructure and robotics. And so why would this company invest $1 billion in this market? And the developer says this is the first, this company put a brake on this project and others around the country. This is the first of this kind. They've done this, but this is the first of this kind in a few years. So I think it's a compliment to us. It's a good question, but I think the company is proving that we're worth investing in. It's pretty
I think
big
it
compliment.
shows we're a high priority market, you know, as when they slowed down and stopped developing in some of the other places they were developing, I assume they looked at their budget and said, okay, what's critical for us? And I think that's testament to the city and the fact that we're a growing market and a priority for them.
Well, I would add that having had the experience of working with them in Hampton, where they redeveloped a 15-year vacant Big K. It's a horrible site, but it was on the major arteries. And they came in and opened up a last mile facility. And then they had another project where they tapped the brakes. They tapped the brakes on Suffolk, Virginia Beach, Hampton. And that was a bad day. They turned the juice back on, but this is the first one they've turned the juice back on in such a robust way. And they also, I think, have a commitment to working with us on solutions to the affordable housing project problem. So hopefully we're going to have a really strong partnership. And in addition, what I would say about the company is that they have a commitment to enhancing the work skill sets of their employees, and they recognize that you're not going to always be in this warehouse distribution line of work, so they want to get additional skill set training for their people. But they also realize that the affordable housing crisis and problem is affecting them as well, so they're a partner in the project. And it's a big enough company that we're hoping that there'll be other facets of the company that we might be able to take advantage of and nurture. So it's a really exciting project.
Nobody knows who it is.
Just want to stop.
Nobody can say who it is.
Leave that to everybody else.
Right, leave it to your imagination who that might be. Thank you, Chuck. I appreciate you coming and presenting that to us, because we don't always know everything that's going on. We don't watch every city council meeting. So we do appreciate you briefing us on that.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. All right, anything else for the good of the cause? If not, the chair will entertain a motion to recess into a closed session pursuant to the exemptions from open meetings allowed by Section 2.2-3711A Code of Virginia as amended for the following purposes. Contracts, discussion of the award of a public contract involving the expenditure of public funds, including interviews of bidders or offers and discussion of the terms or scope of such contract where discussion in open session would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A29, and that's District 2. Legal matters, consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A8, and that pertains to Districts 2 and 5. And 3, publicly held property, discussion or consideration of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose or of the disposition of publicly held real property where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A3, and that pertains to Districts 2 and 5. Can I get a motion on that?
Moved.
A motion for Mr. Brunke, second for Mr. Standing, and then a roll call vote. Elizabeth?
William Brown,
Yes.
William Brunke,
Yes.
Becky Chiazor,
Yes.
Taylor Franklin,
Yes.
Penny Morgan,
Yes.
Lisa Murphy,
Yes.
Ronnie Parker,
Yes.
Mike Standing,
Yes.
Gunther Weisenseel,
Yes.